about Secretary Blinken and the tough role that he has in another trip and trying to put all this together and balance so much. But your reaction to what we started covering on Friday, the U.S. response to what happened in Jordan, what we've seen so far, and do you think it's just the beginning?
Well, I think Robert actually did a really good summary there. The problem is that it appears that the U.S. reaction was baked into the plans of these groups from the beginning. It's not that they, want to die for Islamic resistance, but they're perfectly prepared to do that. And so these kinds of strikes, U.S. missiles, U.S. bombers, things of that nature, they're expecting that. And they kind of, banked that cost up front, knowing that was coming. And this doesn't appear to be changing their calculus very much, as Robert made pretty plain there. So then the U.S. is left with some very undesirable choices. You can just keep doing this and start to look more impotent and more impotent. And these weapons are not cheap. And, we've talked before about how we're running out of weapons for all these conflicts. This is not enough to really impact that, but everything matters. Or does the United States try to do something far more serious and move, again, as Robert said, into this, unknown future in which the war expands more generally, right. Other groups come in, and then we're in an entirely different place.
You're trying to, as I said, strike this balance with the Secretary of State over there again, fifth trip to the region for Secretary Blinken. I want to put up on the screen the countries that he's visiting to kind of make the wider point about what he's trying to do here. So it's Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Qatar, Israel. He's also supposed to go to the West Bank, as you see there. So Blinken's trying, they say, to push for some sort of a hostage deal, which we've heard about for some time. Apparently hasn't come together. There's been some sort of an offer on the table for Hamas. I don't know if we've heard back on that. And to the point you were making, he's trying to do all of this while we're responding to the attacks in Jordan and not put us into some sort of a wider war or escalate anything further. Is that even possible? How's he going to do all this?
It's hard to say. I think what we are seeing here is kind of two tracks. So we have Blinken, who, Secretary Blinken, who's in the region. I think at a basic level, he's trying to help work this hostage deal. But of course, at a higher level, he's looking for a way out of this, a way for a solution simply, not just a hostage deal. But then simultaneously, you have this military logic that these Islamic resistance groups are striking American targets. Quite regrettably, did kill 3 American service members last week. And so the United States has to respond. Those two right now, I think, aren't particularly connected. They're both running on their own tracks, State Department running one, Defense running the other. The danger is that they merge and that the military strikes take a certain logic, that some target is hit or some red line is crossed or something happens that makes the diplomacy much, much harder.
What about the diplomacy and how difficult it is with the relationship now politically between the United States, the Biden administration, and Prime Minister Netanyahu? There's a tweet I'm going to put up on the screen from a guy named Gershon Baskin, who we've had on the show a number of times, used to be a hostage negotiator. It reads as follows. Statements by the Prime Minister that Israel will kill the leadership of Hamas do not help the negotiations on the release of the hostages. This was also told to me by an Egyptian intelligence officer, is what Gershon says. Is Netanyahu trying to sabotage the negotiations to prevent a deal because any deal includes ending the war? What about that question that's asked at the end about sabotage from Netanyahu? What would you say about that?
I mean, I'm not going to ascribe bad motives to anyone, but I think you make an important point that the relationship between this administration and all the major actors in the region, with Netanyahu's government, with Prime Minister Erdogan in Turkey, famously with Mohammed bin Salman, that relationship was going to be put on a much different footing under this administration in the wake of the Khashoggi killing. None of these major capitals that are all very, very important for a solution are ones that we would describe as having a particularly warm relationship with the Biden administration. And that's just increasing the degree of difficulty.
So Netanyahu's waiting it out, you think, for the U.S. election to some degree? Or what do you think his calculus is in all of this?
Again, I'm not inside his head, but it certainly seems that his logic is to drag this out as long as possible. We know that he's facing criminal charges the moment he's no longer a head of state. I think he probably wants to put October 7th further and further in the rearview mirror before he faces voters again. I mean, that's just basic political logic.
To the point. Thanks so much for watching. Just go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.